If you enjoyed the crying of rabid seagulls, while my parents were praising me, I wanted to sink through the floor. The quadrille is about to begin. When Peter asked me to dance, I had no choice but to agree. You're a great dancer. To be honest, I was stepping all over his feet. Peter seemed nice, but I was relieved when the dance ended anyway. Our children should get engaged. By marrying Agnes, your son would get a title, and Peter has a large fortune. I felt like a piglet being sold at a fair. It made my blood boil. Peter and I spent most of our evenings together. At one point, he reached for my veil. What are you doing? Take it off. I want to see your face. You won't like me. That's not true. Come on, don't be afraid. I believed him and did as he asked. No! But it was too late. Peter looked at me in silence. I thought that was a good sign. At least he didn't run away from me screaming. Ah! She'll infect me with her curse! I spoke too soon. She looks like a witch. Were you trying to curse my family? I had been called a witch countless times before, but for some reason, it really got to me that day. Tears stung my eyes, and I ran away so no one could see them. I might have really been cursed because I fell into mud and tore my dress. Hi, why are you lying there? Is that any way to talk to a lady? Look at her eyes! Get out of here, witch! You'll bring us nothing but trouble. At that moment, I would have given anything in the world to become normal. I wanted to have friends who wouldn't be afraid of me, but that seemed impossible. After the incident at the ball, my parents grounded me again. I had to use all my influence to stop the rumors about your eyes from spreading. You aren't leaving the house without our permission. Life became even more boring than before. I lived like a recluse. The only thing that brought a smile to my face were the poems I kept writing in secret. The Lord was dumber than a rock, but looked as proud as a peacock. We celebrated my 16th birthday. It was a boring event until Dad turned my world upside down. It's time for the main gift. This is Lillian. The girl could have been my twin. What's going on? Who is she? I've found a rich fiancé for you. His name is Andrew, and he'll be coming over with his family soon. The first meeting has to be perfect. Lillian is going to take your place for it. What? You want to deceive them? That's not up for discussion. Your duty is to marry Will. We have no choice but to lie since you were born abnormal. But this conversation is over. That evening, I came to Lillian's room and we talked. I come from a very poor family, so when your parents offered me money, I agreed. You're so calm, even though you can see my face. Aren't you afraid? Those are silly superstitions. I feel sorry for you. Lillian was the first person to treat me well. We became fast friends, and I didn't feel as lonely anymore. Andrew and his family came for a visit soon after. My parents and Lillian came out to greet them. You're very beautiful. Thank you. While they were having dinner, I was sitting in the library and feeling so gutted, even the poems didn't help. Sounds like they're having fun. All of a sudden, I heard voices right behind the door. I moved closer to hear them better. Have you seen how hard they're trying to marry their daughter off? I don't care about Agnes. All that matters is her title. That's right, my boy. Andrew said so many nasty things about my family. I could barely believe my ears. Ugh. My parents wanted to marry me off to a scumbag. Andrew stayed with us for a few more days. I spent that time watching him. I asked you to put 2 tablespoons of sugar in my tea, not 1, you moron. His manners were impeccable when he was among nobles, but as soon as there were only servants around, he turned into a demon. I decided to disobey my parents. Doing that back then took great courage. Just so you know, you are going to come out to Andrew in a white veil. He will leave after you get engaged. After that, you will only see each other at the wedding. I obediently put on the veil and walked down to the living room, but when I came close to Andrew, I pulled it off. Who are you? Your fiancé. Do you like me? After the truth came out, everyone was shocked. This is outrageous. Doesn't matter. Our engagement is still valid. Do you really want the title that badly? Agnes, shut up. We are so grateful. You won't regret it. There is no engagement. I'm not marrying this peacock. Agnes! Don't mind her. She's just a foolish girl. Ugh, why wasn't I born in the progressive 21st century? My parents gave me the scolding of a lifetime. If anyone heard the way they'd shouted, they'd think I really was a witch who'd cursed a city with my plague. You're going to marry Andrew whether you want to or not. I'm tired of living like this. You don't care about me or my feelings. All you think about is money. As usual, I was locked in my room and started to hit my pillow out of frustration. Can I come in? Sure. Your parents no longer need me, so I came to say goodbye. At that moment, I got a crazy idea. Lillian, please help me. What? But your parents! Please! There's no one else I can ask. Lillian hesitated. It was hard for her to pluck up her courage to do something so daring. But then, her eyes lit up with a determined gleam. Okay, I'll help you. I took my savings, and I ran away from home at night. Lillian got a horse for me and told me where I could rent a room. Here, you should change if you want to keep a low profile. You're right. I had to take off the veil and put on a raincoat with a deep hood instead. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. Well, good luck. I knew that my parents would come looking for me and tried not to go out during the day. But in the evenings, I walked around the city with a hood pulled up over my head. That was the first time in my life I'd roamed the streets so freely. It was amazing. One day, I saw musicians in the city square. Passerbys were giving them coins for their performance. What if I? Reading my poems in front of an audience was scary. But I decided to give it a try. Most of all, the audience liked the poems in which I ridiculed the aristocrats. That's brilliant, kid. I was over the moon. My poems were bringing money. People really liked them. I was on cloud 9 as I headed back to the room I was renting. Then I heard a loud splash. Someone was drowning in the river. I was a great swimmer, so I hurried to the rescue. Hold on! I pulled the stranger out of the water and then took a look at his face. Even though his clothes looked shabby, the guy was gorgeous. While I was looking at him, he woke up. We looked into each other's eyes and... Wait, my eyes! My hood! Am I dead? Are you an angel? Wow. Angels have such beautiful eyes. I'm surprised you didn't call me a demon. I remember you. You read poetry in the city square. I had never done that before. You were incredible. I felt myself turn red as a tomato. I'm Ethan. I'm Agnes. Thank you for saving me. I can't swim and fell into the river by accident. As we talked, Ethan kept looking at me with admiration. It was so weird. Even Lillian just felt sorry for me, but Ethan seemed to actually like my looks. Let me walk you home. We chatted and admired the starry night sky on the way. It was so romantic. I felt like the heroine of a novel. After saying goodbye to Ethan, I looked out the window and watched him leave. Butterflies fluttered in my stomach, and I couldn't stop thinking about him all night. Early the next morning, I decided to do some grocery shopping. As soon as I left the house, I saw a bouquet of wildflowers. I hope you like them. Thank you. They're amazing. Ethan walked me to the market, and then we walked around town and watched a performance in a puppet theater. From that day on, we started seeing each other every day. Being with Ethan was so easy. I felt carefree. One evening, we came to the city square. Musicians were performing again. Let's dance. I had danced at balls before, but it had never felt as exciting as this. Ethan's hand on my waist was very warm. I was starting to fall for him. Agnes! Oh no! What was he doing there? I grabbed Ethan's arm and dragged him away from the square. Andrew ran after us. I was in such a hurry. I accidentally bumped into the musicians. Hey, watch it! My violin! Agnes, wait! Ethan and I pushed through the crowd to escape. Then, we started running, and soon managed to break away. My heart was pounding like crazy. Who was that? I realized I couldn't lie to Ethan any longer, and I told him the truth. So you're the Earl's daughter? I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but if Andrew finds me, he'll turn me into my parents and they'll drag me home. Don't worry, we'll figure something out. Let's meet tomorrow at noon at our usual spot by the river, okay? All right, I'll be waiting for you. The next morning, I had a bad feeling as soon as I woke up. Unfortunately, my intuition was right. When I left the house to meet Ethan, I immediately ran into my parents. Gotcha! How could you run away from home and mess around with some peasant? My worst fears came true. Andrew had followed me and brought my parents to my new home. I tried to escape, but Dad grabbed me and pushed me into a carriage. My parents brought me home and locked me up. Let me out! Open the door! You've done enough already! Tomorrow, we will announce your engagement to Andrew, and then you will marry him. You're lucky he didn't give up on you, despite all your antics. I spent the night tossing and turning. What did Ethan think when I didn't come to our spot? Did he realize something had happened? Or does he think that I don't want him now? I spent the night crying, but in the morning, I pulled myself together and wiped away my tears. There was nothing wrong with me or my eyes. I wouldn't let anyone hurt me again. When my parents came to my room, I was ready to stand up for myself. But then, something unexpected happened. A change of plans? We've been invited to the Duke's ball. We'll announce your engagement to Andrew some other day. I didn't want to go anywhere, but I didn't have a choice. Mother made me wear a stupid veil again. I felt like a caged bird when we arrived. It was terrible, but at some point, I was left alone and decided to run away. I was